Training for space was nothing like anything Valentina had experienced before. Every day was filled with physical tests and psychological endurance challenges. She learned how the body reacts to extreme acceleration forces in simulations. Centrifuge machines spun her at intense speeds to mimic rocket launch pressure. Each session pushed her limits far beyond ordinary human comfort zones. She had to remain calm, even when her body felt completely overwhelmed. The training was not designed for comfort, but for survival in space. Every detail mattered, because space did not forgive even small mistakes. Engineers observed her reactions carefully, analyzing both physical and emotional responses. Despite challenges, she continued progressing with remarkable determination and focus. Many doubted whether a civilian woman could handle such extreme conditions safely. But she consistently proved that resilience mattered more than background experience. Her discipline began to earn quiet respect within the training program. Behind every test was a reminder of the mission's historic importance. She was not just preparing for herself, but for all women globally. The pressure of representation weighed heavily on her shoulders every single day. Yet she transformed that pressure into motivation rather than fear. Each challenge became another step closer to her historic journey. Slowly, she began to see herself as capable of surviving space. That belief became stronger with every successful training milestone achieved. Meanwhile, the world outside remained unaware of her intense preparation process. Space exploration was still new, mysterious, and full of unknown risks. Scientists continued studying how humans might behave beyond Earth's atmosphere. There was no complete certainty about how long spaceflight would affect humans. Every mission carried experimental risks that could not be fully predicted. Valentina's mission was part of a larger race for space achievement. The Soviet space program aimed to achieve groundbreaking firsts in exploration. Sending a woman into space was considered a bold and symbolic decision. It represented progress not just in science, but in social history. As launch day approached, tension within the program steadily increased. Every system of the spacecraft was tested and retested multiple times carefully. Engineers checked communication systems, oxygen levels, and navigation controls repeatedly. Nothing was left to chance in such a critical mission operation. Valentina spent her final days reviewing procedures and emergency protocols carefully. She also trained mentally to handle complete isolation in orbit alone. That psychological preparation was just as important as physical readiness itself. Being alone in space meant confronting silence unlike anything on Earth. No human voice, no familiar environment, only the vast, unknown cosmos. Despite that, she remained steady, focused, and emotionally prepared for mission. Her confidence grew not from certainty, but from acceptance of uncertainty itself. That mindset helped her face fear without being controlled by it. Finally, the launch day arrived with intense anticipation from mission control. The spacecraft stood ready, fueled, and waiting for final countdown sequence. Every second leading up to launch felt heavier than the last moment. Scientists monitored every system while holding hope for successful mission outcome. Valentina entered the spacecraft with calm determination and steady breathing control. Inside, everything felt tight, controlled, and designed for survival in space. She secured her position, preparing for forces that would soon overwhelm her body. Countdown began, echoing through control rooms filled with focused silence and tension. Each number brought her closer to leaving Earth behind completely forever. At 0, engines ignited with tremendous force and overwhelming energy release. The spacecraft lifted slowly at first, then accelerated into powerful ascent. Gravity pressed against her body with extreme intensity during launch phase, yet she remained conscious, focused, and aware of every passing moment. Earth began to shrink beneath her as she moved beyond atmosphere. The sky transformed into darkness as she crossed into outer space. In that moment, humanity crossed a new boundary of exploration forever. Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman to enter space history, but her journey was only beginning beyond Earth's gravitational reach. Because space would soon reveal challenges no one had fully prepared for, and her real test was still waiting in the silence of orbit. The world watched in awe as history unfolded beyond the sky. A single woman had changed the direction of human exploration forever, and now she was completely alone in the vastness of space. The next phase would define her legacy in ways no one expected. What if one ordinary woman changed how humanity saw space forever completely? Imagine being chosen for a journey no human woman had taken before. In a world dominated by limits, she was asked to break them. Valentina Tereshkova was not born into fame, power, or scientific privilege. She was an ordinary textile worker, living in Soviet Russia's changing society. Yet destiny had something extraordinary waiting beyond Earth's atmosphere for her. Most people believed space exploration belonged only to trained male astronauts, but history was about to challenge that belief in the most powerful way. What if courage mattered more than background, education, or technical perfection itself? That question would soon be answered by a young woman from Russia. Before space missions, she had never even dreamed of leaving Earth itself. But dreams often begin where logic says something is impossible entirely. In the early 1960s, space exploration was still new and extremely dangerous. Every mission carried uncertainty, risk, and the unknown vastness of space itself. Yet scientists and leaders were searching for the next historic breakthrough moment. They wanted someone who could represent both humanity and possibility together equally. That search would unexpectedly lead to a woman named Valentina Tereshkova. She was selected not from elite military ranks, but from everyday life. That decision alone shocked many people within the space program immediately, because no one expected a civilian woman to enter space history so early. But hidden within her was something greater than experience or training alone. She possessed determination, resilience, and emotional strength beyond ordinary expectations. These qualities would soon be tested beyond anything Earth had ever offered. Imagine preparing for a mission where failure means losing everything instantly. That was the reality she faced before launching into the unknown sky. Every moment leading to that launch carried pressure beyond human imagination levels. Yet she remained calm in ways even trained astronauts found surprising deeply. The world watched closely as history quietly prepared to change forever. Few realized that this mission would redefine gender roles in space exploration. Even fewer understood how dangerous and unpredictable the journey would become. But she was ready to face something no woman had faced before. The spacecraft waiting for her represented both hope and extreme risk. Inside it, she would leave Earth completely alone for days in space. That isolation itself was one of the greatest challenges of the mission. But beyond fear, there was something stronger driving her forward courage. Courage built not from training alone, but from belief in possibility itself. She was stepping into a future no one had fully imagined yet, and that future would begin with a single launch into the sky. Every scientist knew the mission could succeed or fail in seconds. There was no guarantee of survival in those early space missions, yet progress demanded that someone take that first uncertain step upward. That responsibility would fall on a woman the world was not ready for, but she was more ready than anyone could have possibly expected. As countdown began, history quietly held its breath in anticipation. One moment would separate ordinary life from extraordinary global recognition forever. The rocket stood ready, pointing toward the vast unknown above Earth. Inside it, she prepared to become part of something larger than herself. No one knew exactly how space would affect a human body then. Every second carried both scientific importance and personal human vulnerability together. Yet she remained composed, focused, and determined in those final moments. The world outside waited without fully understanding what was about to happen. This was not just a launch, but a turning point in history. A moment where humanity would expand its understanding of who belongs in space. And that understanding would begin with one woman's journey beyond Earth. Valentina Tereshkova was about to become more than a person in history. She was about to become a symbol of possibility for generations ahead. But the real story was only just beginning at this moment, because space would test her in ways no one could predict yet. And everything she knew was about to be challenged beyond imagination. The journey to become the first woman in space was about to begin. And nothing on Earth would ever feel the same again after this. History was no longer waiting. It was already in motion completely. The world was standing on the edge of transformation and discovery. And she was the one chosen to cross that invisible boundary. The sky was no longer the limit. It was just the beginning. Once Valentina reached orbit, the reality of space became unexpectedly overwhelming immediately. The silence around her was nothing like anything experienced on Earth before. No wind, no sound, only the mechanical hum of her spacecraft systems. That silence began to feel heavier than any physical force she endured. She realized space was not just a scientific environment, but emotional isolation. Even communication with Earth came in brief, delayed, and technical fragments only. The feeling of complete separation from humanity started affecting her perception deeply. Every orbit around Earth reminded her how small human presence truly is. From above, continents looked fragile, distant, and almost unreal in appearance. Earth appeared peaceful, yet completely unreachable in that vast emptiness of space. This contrast created a powerful emotional tension within her mind constantly. She was not just conducting a mission, she was surviving psychological solitude. Here is the twist most people never think about in space history. The greatest challenge was not physical danger, but mental endurance in isolation. Space did not test only technology, but the human mind under loneliness. Valentina began to understand that strength in space was deeply psychological. Even trained astronauts struggle with the emotional weight of total isolation. Yet she, a civilian woman, was experiencing it for the very first time. That reality challenged every assumption scientists had about human space adaptation. Her mission was no longer just about reaching space successfully. It became about understanding how humans emotionally survive beyond Earth. This insight changed the meaning of her entire journey entirely. Meanwhile, Mission Control monitored her condition with increasing concern and attention. Every response she gave was analyzed for signs of stress or fatigue. Surprisingly, she remained composed despite the psychological strain she experienced daily. Her calm communication surprised even the most experienced engineers observing her, but internally she was constantly adapting to emotional pressure silently. Sleep in orbit was also unfamiliar and physically disorienting for her body. Weightlessness disrupted normal human rhythms and natural biological cycles completely. Simple actions like eating and resting required careful coordination and adaptation. Every movement inside the spacecraft had to be calculated and controlled. There was no natural reference point like gravity on Earth provides. Even simple orientation became a mental challenge in zero-gravity environment. This added another layer of difficulty to her already intense mission. Yet she continued performing all required tasks with discipline and focus. That discipline became her strongest survival tool in orbit above Earth. But something unexpected began happening during her time alone in space. She started experiencing deep reflection about humanity and existence itself. Looking at Earth from space changed her understanding of life profoundly. Borders, conflicts, and divisions seemed meaningless from that distant perspective. She saw Earth as one fragile, connected system floating in darkness. That realization created a powerful emotional shift in her thinking. Her mission transformed from technical achievement into philosophical experience. She was no longer just observing Earth, but understanding humanity differently. This perspective became one of the most unexpected outcomes of her journey. Scientists had not fully anticipated this emotional and philosophical impact. Space travel was changing not just bodies, but human perception itself. Valentina's experience revealed how deeply environment shapes human consciousness. The mission became more than exploration, it became self-discovery in orbit, yet challenges were still not over during her time in space. Technical issues and communication limitations occasionally created moments of uncertainty. Every system had to function perfectly for safe return to Earth. Any small failure could have serious consequences in space environment. Despite this, she maintained focus on completing mission objectives successfully. Her resilience became evident not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. The world below continued watching this historic journey with growing admiration. She had already achieved something no woman had done before, but the return journey would present its own unexpected challenges soon, and the final phase of her mission was still ahead of her. Because coming back to Earth would test her in a new way. Space had changed her, but Earth would test her recovery next, and that transition would reveal the full impact of her journey. The mission was far from over despite reaching orbit successfully. In fact, the most critical moment was still waiting ahead, and what came next would secure her place in history forever. After days in orbit, the mission entered its most critical phase of return. Valentina prepared for re-entry, knowing Earth's atmosphere would test everything. The spacecraft began its descent, shifting from calm orbit into intense pressure. Heat built rapidly around the capsule as it entered atmospheric friction. Inside, vibrations increased, shaking the entire structure violently and continuously. Communication with mission control became more limited during this dangerous phase. Every second felt heavier as speed and heat intensified around her. She remained focused, following procedures with precision and disciplined calmness. Outside the capsule, temperatures rose to extreme levels beyond imagination. The spacecraft's heat shield carried the burden of protecting her life. Any failure in this system would have meant immediate mission disaster. But engineering and preparation held steady under extreme re-entry conditions. Valentina experienced powerful gravitational forces pressing against her body again. It felt even more intense than the initial launch into space. Breathing required concentration as pressure shifted dramatically during descent phase. Despite chaos outside, she maintained remarkable control inside the capsule. Mission Control anxiously monitored every signal from the descending spacecraft. Silence between updates created tension across the entire control room. Everyone understood that final moments determined success or failure completely. Then, parachutes deployed, signaling the beginning of safe landing sequence. The descent slowed, transforming violent speed into controlled and gentle fall. Earth's surface slowly came into clearer view beneath the capsule. Fields, rivers, and landforms became visible as she approached ground. After days in space, Earth appeared both familiar and transformed. The capsule landed safely, marking the successful completion of mission. That moment signaled a historic achievement for both science and humanity. Valentina Tereshkova had returned from space as the first woman ever. Her safe landing confirmed success of one of history's boldest missions. Engineers and scientists erupted in relief and celebration at Mission Control. Years of preparation had resulted in a groundbreaking historical milestone. But for Valentina, landing was not the end of her journey. It was the beginning of global recognition and historical significance. When she exited the capsule, she stepped into worldwide attention. Cameras, reporters, and scientists documented every moment of her arrival. Her mission proved that space was not limited by gender alone. It expanded human understanding of who could reach beyond Earth. The world reacted with admiration, curiosity, and inspiration at once. Her achievement inspired countless women across different countries and generations. It showed that barriers in science and exploration could be broken. Governments and scientists recognized the historical importance of her mission. She was celebrated not just as an astronaut, but a pioneer. Yet behind celebration was deep reflection on what she had experienced. Space had changed her understanding of Earth and humanity forever. She had seen the planet as one unified, fragile existence. That perspective remained with her long after returning to ground. Her journey was no longer just scientific, but deeply human experience. It revealed emotional strength required for exploration beyond Earth. The mission also reshaped future planning for human space travel programs. Scientists studied her experience to improve future astronaut preparation systems. Her success opened doors for more diverse participation in space missions. It marked a turning point in global space exploration history. But even greater meaning would emerge from her legacy over time, because her journey was not just about reaching space successfully. It was about redefining what humanity believed was possible entirely, and that belief continued to influence generations long after her mission. Her return marked both an ending and a powerful beginning simultaneously. The world had witnessed something that would never be forgotten again, and history now included a new chapter written by her courage. But the true impact of her journey was still unfolding slowly, because her story would inspire exploration far beyond her own mission, and her legacy would shape how humanity approaches space forever, and it prepared the world for even greater space milestones ahead. Her return completed a journey that changed history permanently forever. Valentina Tereshkova's mission did not end when she touched Earth again. It continued living in the minds of scientists and dreamers worldwide. Her journey became a symbol of human courage beyond all boundaries. It showed that exploration is not limited by gender or background. Instead, it is driven by determination, discipline, and belief in possibility. Her achievement redefined what humanity believed about space exploration roles. Before her mission, space was seen as an exclusive male frontier. After her flight, that perception began to slowly and permanently change. She opened a door that had remained closed for generations before, and through that door, countless future possibilities began to emerge. Her legacy inspired women across the world to pursue science careers. It encouraged young minds to dream beyond societal limitations and expectations. Her story became proof that history can change in a single moment. One decision, one mission, and one person can reshape global perspective. The impact of her journey extended far beyond the space program. It influenced education, culture, and how people viewed human potential. Scientists began considering more diverse perspectives in future space missions. Her success proved that capability is not defined by traditional assumptions. It is defined by preparation, resilience, and inner strength under pressure. Valentina's mission also deepened understanding of human behavior in space. Her experience helped shape safer and more advanced space missions later. Every astronaut who followed benefited from lessons learned during her journey. She became part of the foundation of modern space exploration systems. Her influence quietly exists in every successful mission beyond Earth today. Even technological advancements trace back to early missions like hers. Her courage transformed not only science, but human imagination itself. People began to see space as a shared human destination, not as a place reserved for a select few individuals. Her story proved that history is shaped by those who dare. Those who step forward, despite uncertainty, create lasting global change. Valentina Tereshkova's journey became a timeless example of human bravery. It is studied, remembered, and honored across generations and nations alike. Her name is forever linked with the beginning of female spaceflight, but her true legacy lies deeper than a single historical title. It lies in the shift of human belief about possibility itself. She showed that limits are often created in the mind first, and those limits can be broken with courage and determination. Her journey continues to inspire new generations of scientists and explorers. Each new mission into space carries echoes of her pioneering flight. She helped transform space exploration into a more inclusive human endeavor. That transformation remains one of the most important in history. because it expanded not only access, but imagination and ambition too. Her story reminds us that progress often begins with one bold step, a step into uncertainty that changes everything that follows afterward. Valentina took that step when no roadmap truly existed before, and in doing so, she created one for others to follow. Her journey is not just about space, but about human evolution. It represents how far determination can carry a single individual forward, from a textile worker to an astronaut in orbit around Earth. That transformation itself is one of history's most powerful narratives. It shows that destiny is shaped through action, not limitation, and that courage can rewrite what humanity believes is possible. Her legacy continues to orbit Earth in inspiration and memory. Long after her mission, her impact still reaches new generations. She remains a reminder that exploration begins with belief in self, and that belief can carry humanity beyond the boundaries of Earth. Valentina Tereshkova did not just enter space. She changed its meaning. She turned a moment in history into a permanent human inspiration. And that inspiration continues guiding space exploration even today. Her journey proves that greatness often begins where doubt once existed, because every barrier she broke became a doorway for others. And every doorway she opened expanded humanity's future possibilities. Her story is not just remembered, but still unfolding in impact, and it continues to shape how we dream about space today. Because her legacy is not past history, it is living inspiration. Valentina Tereshkova's journey is more than a historic spaceflight story. It is a reflection of how human potential expands through courage. Her mission proved that exploration is powered by belief in possibility, and possibility begins where fear and limitation are challenged directly. She stepped into space at a time of uncertainty and risk, yet her determination transformed uncertainty into historic achievement for humanity. Today, space exploration continues advancing because pioneers like her existed. Every modern astronaut benefits from the path she helped create. Her experience shaped safety standards and psychological preparation in missions. It also broadened understanding of how humans adapt beyond Earth. Scientists learned that emotional strength is as important as physical ability. That lesson continues influencing astronaut training programs worldwide today. Her journey also shifted global perspectives on gender and science. It challenged outdated assumptions about who belongs in exploration fields. And it opened doors for countless women in STEM careers globally. Her legacy is not only symbolic, but structurally important too. It changed how institutions think about inclusion and capability together. Valentina showed that human achievement is not defined by origin, it is defined by discipline, courage, and commitment to growth. Her flight remains a milestone in both science and society, because it connected technological progress with human equality advancement. That connection makes her story uniquely powerful in world history. Even decades later, her name continues inspiring scientific ambition globally. Young students learning about space still encounter her groundbreaking journey, and that exposure continues planting seeds of curiosity and aspiration. Her story reminds us that progress is built on pioneers, people who take risks so others can move forward safely. Without such individuals, scientific progress would move much more slowly. Valentina became one of those defining individuals in human history. Her courage turned a single mission into a lasting global impact. She demonstrated that ordinary beginnings can lead to extraordinary outcomes. That transformation remains one of the most inspiring parts of her story. It proves that greatness is accessible, not reserved for a few. Her journey also deepened humanity's emotional connection with space exploration. People began to see astronauts as explorers of human potential too, not just technical experts, but symbols of human resilience and hope. That perspective continues influencing how we view space missions today. Her experience helped shape space exploration into a shared human narrative, a narrative that belongs to all countries, genders, and generations alike. Because space itself does not recognize human divisions or boundaries. It reflects back our unity when seen from orbit above Earth. Valentina's view of Earth changed how she understood humanity forever, and that vision continues to inspire global unity perspectives today. Her mission teaches that perspective can change everything about understanding. Sometimes distance from Earth brings clarity about life itself, and that clarity can reshape how we treat our world. Her journey encourages us to think beyond limitations in daily life. It invites us to question what we believe is impossible, because history shows impossible ideas often become future achievements. She is proof that one person can shift global perception, and that courage can redefine entire fields of human knowledge. Her legacy continues living not only in history books, but minds. Every time space is explored, her influence quietly remains present. She helped transform space from dream into achievable human reality, and that transformation continues expanding with every new mission launched. Her story will always remind humanity of its shared potential, a potential that grows when courage meets opportunity and action. Valentina Tereshkova's journey is therefore more than history alone. It is an ongoing lesson in human possibility and progress, and it continues shaping how we imagine our future in space. Because her flight was not the end, but the beginning of a new era where exploration belongs to all humanity. Her legacy ensures that future journeys will go even further, and her impact will remain part of human progress forever, because she proved that the sky was never the limit.